Imagine this. You're 35. Your wife leaves you. You lose your job. Your savings vanish in a stock market crash. No calls, no friends. Just the empty hum of the refrigerator in your one-bedroom apartment. You break down. You scream. You panic. But then, one day you stop. You sit in silence and read a quote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That quote? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor. And that man? That was a real guy named Jeremy I met 2 years ago. He used no therapist, just Stoic practices. But wait, was that healthy? Or did he suppress emotions he should have processed with help? Let's explore the battle. Stoicism versus modern therapy. Which one actually helps you overcome pain, regain clarity, and live a better life? Every day, millions of people are waking up to anxiety, burnout, and emotional exhaustion. Some go to therapists. Others turn to ancient texts, YouTube videos, or even Reddit forums on Stoicism. But there's a problem. Both sides claim to be the answer. Therapy says, talk it out. Stoicism says, control your reaction. So today, we're not just comparing ideas. We're going deep into history, science, personal stories, and real-life application to see which one truly works and when. What is Stoicism really? Not what you think. When most people hear the word Stoicism, they picture a cold, emotionless figure. Someone who never smiles, never cries, and walks through life like a robot. But that image? It's completely wrong. Stoicism isn't about being numb. It's about being strong, especially when life gets hard. Let me tell you a story. In ancient Rome, a man named Epictetus was born into slavery. He had no freedom, no power, and at one point, his master crushed his leg, leaving him crippled for life. And yet, Epictetus wasn't bitter. He didn't spiral into rage or self-pity. Instead, he said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Imagine being enslaved in pain, with no justice, and still choosing peace of mind. That's Stoicism. It's not about pretending bad things don't hurt. It's about choosing how you respond when they do. Now fast forward 2,000 years to someone like you. Maybe you're dealing with anxiety. Maybe you feel stuck, overwhelmed, unsure. The modern world throws endless problems at us. Some big, some petty. You can't control the chaos. But Stoicism teaches that you can control your reaction. That's the core of it. Stoicism trains you to focus only on what's within your control. Let go of everything that isn't. Act with virtue, courage, wisdom, justice, and self-discipline, even when things fall apart. It's a philosophy built for real life. Let's say you lose your job. Most people panic. They worry about bills, status, what others will think. The Stoic response? Accept that the job is gone. Mourn if needed. But don't waste energy on what you can't change. Focus on what you can do now. Apply, build, pivot, grow. This mindset isn't just theoretical. It's been battle-tested for centuries. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire while facing plagues, betrayal, and war. Seneca guided the most unstable emperor in Roman history. Epictetus taught freedom while being a literal slave. What's more impressive? All of them wrote about inner freedom, the kind that no government, economy, or relationship can take from you. And here's what most people miss. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He was right. Our fears often grow because we feed them. Stoicism teaches you to observe your emotions without letting them control you. There's even a practice called premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils, where you imagine bad things happening before they do, so you're mentally prepared when real problems show up. Think of it like training your mind for chaos the way athletes train their bodies for pain. So no, Stoicism isn't toxic positivity. It doesn't say, just smile through the pain. It says, feel the pain, accept it, then choose your best response. It's mental discipline, emotional maturity, and spiritual clarity all wrapped into one. That's why more and more people today, entrepreneurs, athletes, soldiers, even therapists, are turning to Stoic principles. Because while modern life changes fast, one thing hasn't changed. You can't control the world, but you can control how you show up in it. And that's what Stoicism really is. What does modern therapy offer? The science of healing. Let's go back to Jeremy's story. After he lost his job and his marriage collapsed, he turned to Stoicism. He read Marcus Aurelius every morning. He journaled. He practiced silence. But one night, sitting alone in the dark, he whispered something he'd never said out loud. I don't even know who I am anymore. The quotes weren't helping. The silence was too loud. And the pain? It hadn't gone anywhere. It just sat there, deeper now, buried under discipline. That's when he tried something new. Therapy. Here's the thing. Stoicism teaches you how to respond to pain. But therapy helps you understand where that pain comes from. Not just the moment it hurts, but the history behind it. And that's what makes modern therapy so powerful. Therapy is not about weakness. It's not just talking about your feelings. It's a structured process, rooted in psychology and neuroscience, that helps you recognize your emotional patterns, identify distorted thinking, reframe your beliefs, heal from trauma. One of the most popular forms today is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And here's what's wild. CBT and Stoicism are cousins. They both focus on how your thoughts shape your emotions. They both teach you not to blindly believe every feeling. But therapy goes a step further. It digs into the why. Why do you lash out when you're criticized? Why do you freeze in conflict? Why do you sabotage relationships right when they start to feel safe? You can't stoic your way through those questions. You need a guide. You need someone trained to spot patterns and gently hold up the mirror. Therapists aren't there to fix you. They're there to walk with you through your fears, your past, your shame. And sometimes, that journey is the most courageous thing a person can do. The science backs it. According to the American Psychological Association, over 75% of people who enter therapy see significant improvement in emotional well-being. CBT has been proven as effective as medication in many cases of depression and anxiety. Long-term therapy can even rewire your brain, building healthier emotional responses through neuroplasticity. It's not just healing, it's training your brain to feel differently. But there's something even more important. Therapy creates a safe space, a place where you're not judged, where you don't need to be strong or composed, where you can cry, rage, break down. And it's okay, because sometimes the healing starts when you stop pretending to be okay. For Jeremy, therapy didn't replace Stoicism. It revealed the wounds Stoicism couldn't reach. And for the first time, he said the words he needed to say. I'm not just angry. I'm grieving. That's the science of healing. Not suppressing pain. Not even just managing it, but understanding it, facing it, and ultimately, learning to move through it. With help, modern therapy doesn't promise perfection, but it does offer transformation. It's not a shortcut. It's not always easy, but it's real. And in a world where so many people suffer in silence, it's one of the most powerful tools we have. So while Stoicism teaches you to stand strong, therapy gives you a place to finally lay down your armor. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need. Where Stoicism shines, the tough days test. Let's be honest. There are days when you don't have time to unpack your childhood trauma. You don't have a therapist on speed dial. You don't have the luxury to sit with your feelings for an hour. You've got rent due, kids crying, deadlines looming, and all you can think is, I don't have time to fall apart. That's where Stoicism shines. Stoicism is a battlefield philosophy. It wasn't developed in cozy university offices or safe clinical settings. It was born in the harshest conditions. Epictetus was a slave. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire during war and plague. Seneca navigated the madness of Emperor Nero. They didn't just write theories. They lived through chaos. And what they left behind was a toolkit. One built not for perfect people in perfect conditions, but for real people in real pain. Take the Stoic concept of dichotomy of control. The idea that life is split into two parts. Things you can control, things you can't. That one idea alone has saved countless people from drowning in anxiety. When your boss yells at you, you can't control his mood, but you can control your response. When your flight gets canceled, you can't control the airline, but you can control whether you lose your mind or take a breath. This mindset is incredibly powerful in crisis. It cuts through the noise. It gives you something solid to stand on when everything else feels like quicksand. And then there's premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst before it happens. It sounds negative, but it's not. It's a mental dress rehearsal for life's punches. You prepare. You accept. So when the disaster comes, you're not surprised. You're ready. It's why athletes use it. Soldiers use it. Entrepreneurs use it. Even therapists now use Stoic journaling prompts with their clients. Because this stuff works. Let me give you a real example. Jessica, a startup founder I know, lost $400,000 in investor funding overnight. Her co-founder left. Her team panicked. But she didn't spiral. Why? Because she'd been training her mind daily using Stoic techniques. Each morning, she asked, what's the worst that could happen today? And how will I respond with virtue? That question didn't make her immune to pain, but it made her unshakable under pressure. That's Stoicism. It doesn't erase hardship. It trains you to walk through it with your eyes open. And unlike therapy, which can be expensive, inaccessible, or stigmatized in some places, Stoicism is free. No appointments, no waiting rooms, just you, your thoughts, and the wisdom of people who suffered far worse and still stood tall. On those dark days, when the world feels overwhelming, and you don't have time to feel, to cry, to talk, Stoicism is there. Not as a hug, but as a sword. It doesn't say, let's unpack this. It says, get up, stand tall, let's face the storm. And sometimes, in this chaotic world, that's exactly what you need. Where therapy wins the deep work. Let's talk about something most people try to ignore. The pain that doesn't go away. The kind that lives in the background of your life. Quiet, constant, heavy. It's not the panic of a lost job or the stress of a busy week. It's deeper, older, like the way your chest tightens when someone raises their voice, or how you flinch when you get close to real connection, or the endless guilt you carry and don't even know why. You can journal. You can breathe. You can read all the Stoic quotes in the world. But sometimes that pain doesn't budge. That's where therapy wins. Let's go back to our story. Jeremy, remember him? He was functioning on the outside, going to work, hitting the gym, even quoting Marcus Aurelius on Instagram. But inside, he was frozen. Not sad, not angry, just numb. It wasn't until his therapist asked one question, just one, that something cracked open. What would happen if you let yourself actually feel what you've been avoiding? He didn't answer right away. But 2 weeks later, he cried for the first time in 10 years. That's deep work. You see, Stoicism teaches you to manage emotions. Therapy helps you understand them. Therapy is the place where you dig under the surface. You start to see how your childhood shaped your self-worth, how your past relationships built your defense mechanisms, how your beliefs about love, failure, even success, were programmed into you without consent. That's not weakness. That's clarity. One of the most powerful tools therapy uses is something called schema work, mapping out your internal narratives. For example, I always have to prove I'm good enough. People will leave if I show my real self. If I fail, I'm worthless. You didn't choose these beliefs. They were formed through pain. But until you see them, they control you. Therapy is where those beliefs come into the light. And in that light, you can finally rewrite them. It's also the only space where your mask can fully come off. Not the productive version of you. Not the tough one. Just you. Therapists are trained to hold space for your story, without judgment. They listen between your words. They notice the sighs, the pauses, the way your shoulders tighten when you talk about your father. And slowly, session by session, you begin to connect the dots. You begin to soften. You begin to heal. There's a reason trauma experts say, you can't think your way out of emotional wounds. You have to feel your way through them. And that's what therapy offers. A safe, structured, scientifically backed process for doing the hardest emotional work of your life. This isn't about blaming your past. It's about freeing yourself from it. And here's the beautiful thing. Therapy doesn't erase stoicism. It strengthens it. Because when you've done the deep emotional work, stoic discipline becomes easier. You're not constantly wrestling with suppressed pain. You're not triggered by invisible wounds. You're clear. You're grounded. You're whole. So yes, stoicism helps you function. But therapy? It helps you transform. So, which one should you choose? Or, can you use both? So here we are. On one side, we have Stoicism, a philosophy forged in chaos, built for resilience. It teaches you to stay calm under fire, to master your emotions, to stand tall when the world tries to break you. On the other, we have modern therapy, a science-backed path to emotional healing. It helps you unpack the trauma you didn't know you were carrying. It gives you a language for your wounds and a space to finally breathe. So which one do you choose? Let's go back to Jeremy, our story's thread. After months of reading Stoic texts, Jeremy became disciplined, sharper, less reactive. But he was also disconnected. He could control his emotions, sure, but he couldn't connect deeply with anyone. He didn't trust softness. Vulnerability felt like failure. Then therapy entered the picture, and something shifted. He stopped using Stoicism as a shield and started using it as a foundation. Therapy gave him the courage to look inward, to feel, to forgive, to let go. But when life threw a fresh wave of chaos at him, Stoicism gave him the mental armor to keep moving. And that's when he realized the truth. It's not Stoicism versus therapy. It's Stoicism and therapy. Because both offer different tools for the same mission, becoming a stronger, freer, more grounded version of yourself. Think of it like this. Stoicism is the emergency kit. It's there when things collapse, when you need to take action now, with strength and clarity. It teaches you to focus only on what you can control, and to live with virtue no matter what comes your way. Therapy is the surgery room. It's where you go when the wounds are deeper, when you're not just reacting to life, but repeating it, when your past keeps writing your present. Therapy helps you slow down, investigate, and truly heal. And when you use both, you get something rare in today's world. Resilience without numbness, strength with softness, discipline with depth. You become someone who can handle the storm and understand why the storm inside you started in the first place. This isn't a trendy hack. It's not a choose your side debate. It's about being honest. Some days you need a sword. Some days you need a scalpel. Some days you need silence. Some days you need someone to say, "It's okay to feel this." If Stoicism gets you out of bed, and therapy helps you sleep at night, why would you ever choose just one? Jeremy didn't, and neither should you. So, here's your challenge. Try both. Read a Stoic quote each morning. Book a therapy session this month. Journal like Marcus. Speak like Seneca. But cry if you need to. More. Heal. Grow. Because true strength? It isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about becoming someone who can face anything, inside or out, without losing your soul. If this hit you somewhere deep, if you're walking that fine line between surviving and actually healing, you're not alone. Stoicism gives you the strength to face the world. Therapy gives you the courage to face yourself. And together, they can change your life. Backhand index pointing right, so if you're ready to master your mind and heal your heart, hit that subscribe button. Because we're not just talking motivation here. We're building a mindset that lasts. Speech balloon, drop a comment below. Stoicism, therapy, or both. Which path are you walking right now? I read every one. And someone out there might need your story to keep going. Bell, and don't forget to tap the bell, so you never miss a video that could shift your perspective when you need it most.